The Philadelphia Eagles are officially back as OTAs just started this week, and with that, we've got our first look at the 2023 Philadelphia Eagles, and there's a lot of really interesting things that have come out during the first couple days of OTAs. Some of the things are shocking, some are exciting, some are really intriguing, but it's all really important. So we're going to break it all down in this video today, and let's not waste any time and get straight into it. So as I just said, the Philadelphia Eagles began OTAs this week, specifically on Tuesday, May 30th, and since then, we've learned a lot, as a lot of reports, pictures, practice clips, and interviews have all come out, giving us a lot of information, and we're going to break down what it all means. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is Jordan Davis, who obviously is a player who's going to have a lot bigger of a role this year than he did last year in his rookie season, so this was really a critical offseason for him to prepare for that bigger role, and he tackled the offseason head-on as he has reportedly come into OTAs in phenomenal shape. Obviously, last year, one of Jordan Davis's bigger concerns was the fact that maybe he was a little bit overweight, maybe he was a little bit out of shape. If you'll remember back to before he was drafted, that was one of his biggest concerns coming out of Georgia, so he made sure to address that directly this offseason, and he's looking much slimmed down in the pictures and videos that have been released by the Eagles, which is obviously a great sign. But his physical condition is not the only thing that he improved this offseason, as he's looking to take his game to the next level this year. He spoke on that in this interview.
Going into this season, going into this role that I'm about to take, I understand that they're asking a lot more of me, and that's okay. That's what I'm here for. Conditioning, most importantly, and just working on get-off technique. That was the biggest thing. I watched the film, of myself, and I just realized that a lot of my technique was a little raw. And so I wanted to come in. I wanted to come in hot. I wanted to come in sharp. I just want to make sure that, one, conditioning for sure, and two, just maintaining, and then doing the right thing on the field, just doing my technique right, doing the right little things correctly.
I mean, you absolutely love to hear it. I'm really excited to watch Jordan Davis this season. I think he's going to be much improved from last year. I think he's going to make a huge impact in the bigger role that he's going to be given. So don't be surprised if Davis has a breakout season. I honestly am expecting that from him. And now I want to move on to talk about another second-year player, and that is Nakobe Dean. And he's also expected to have a way bigger role this year, as he didn't really play at all in his rookie season, although in the opportunities that he did have, he played pretty well. But now this season, he's expected to take on a lot more responsibility, as he's going to be the signal caller for that Eagles defense, as new Eagles linebacker Nicholas Morrow confirmed that Nakobe Dean was wearing the green dot at OTAs.
Who has the green dot? Yeah, Nakobe got the green dot.
And this is really interesting, but I also think it was expected. I think we all expected that he was going to have a much bigger role this season, even before this offseason played out the way it did. And we also knew that Dean has a lot of potential, and the Eagles have a lot of faith in him for very good reason. He's extremely talented, he's a very hard worker, and now he's going to get his opportunity to shine as the signal caller in year two, and I definitely think he can also have a breakout season for the Eagles as well. So I'm expecting big things from Nakobe Dean this year. Even so, linebacker will definitely be a position to watch for the Eagles, as they have two completely different starters than they did last year, and the same goes for the safety position as well, and we got some huge news regarding that through the first couple days of OTAs. Obviously, heading in, we didn't know exactly who the two starters would be, but as of now, through the first couple days of OTAs, the starters at the safety position have been Terrell Edmunds and Blankenship, which honestly seem like the most likely scenario. I mean, Terrell Edmunds is the most proven safety that they have on their roster. I mean, he's had a good 5-year career so far with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and now he'll look to come in with the Philadelphia Eagles and continue his success as a starter. And for Blankenship, it looks like he's going to get his well-deserved opportunity to start after being an undrafted free agent last year. He was vaulted into the starting position in Week 12 after C.J. Gardner-Johnson went down with an injury versus the Green Bay Packers, and he was ready. He came out, he performed very well, and now he's going to look to take another step in his second year in what it looks like to be a much increased role. And I think Blankenship is definitely another breakout candidate for the Eagles, so watch out for that. However, when it comes to safeties, don't count out rookie Sidney Brown, as he's impressed all offseason with his play and practice as well as his incredible work ethic, and he's apparently continued that into OTAs. Josh Tolentino put out a tweet saying this, quote, "Sidney Brown is flying all over the field every rep. Just covered so much ground during first 7v7 rep of developmental period, sideline to sideline." And in addition to that, Terrell Edmunds had some very high praise for Sidney Brown.
Been like working with Sidney Brown at this point. What have you learned about him?
Man, he's a hard worker. He doesn't say too much. He's always smiling, but you just know that he wants it. He's a guy that goes out there, he gives 110%. He's willing to learn. He's just, I don't know what you want to say, but he just loves football, you can tell. And he goes out there, give 110% every day. And he's going to be a guy that's going to be in this league for a while.
I mean, this is all very interesting. Sidney Brown may not get a huge opportunity this season if the two guys that were starting at safety through the first couple days of OTAs remain the starters, but if for whatever reason he does get a very big role this year, I think he has a good chance to shine in that role, and I definitely think whatever role the Eagles do give him, he's going to make the most of it, and he'll eventually prove to be a very good player in this league. But now, speaking of Eagles rookies, of course we got to talk about Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith, as Nolan Smith apparently has absolutely brought it in OTAs. First off, he's come in apparently a little bit bigger than a lot of people expected him to be, which is obviously a very good sign, considering the fact that coming out of Georgia, one of Nolan Smith's bigger concerns was his smaller size, so it's obviously good that he's a little bit bigger. And Nolan Smith is also being used in a lot of different roles, and he's getting a lot of experience in different scenarios and situations, as apparently he took first team, second team, and third team reps on the first day of OTAs that was open to the media. So this is obviously really interesting. I mean, I'm excited to see how the Eagles do end up using Nolan Smith and how big of a role he's going to have on this team this year. I think no matter what role he's put into, he's going to make the most of his opportunities, but I think if he's given a little bit bigger of a role, I think he's going to shine for this team. I think he's going to have a huge impact right away in his rookie season. I'm just super excited to watch him this year, and he's also proving to be an absolute dog in OTAs. I mean, apparently he's giving 100% full effort every single play, just doing all the things that are going to make Nolan Smith a fan favorite in this city. He's already becoming that. I mean, there's some people that I've heard say that Nolan Smith is their favorite player, and he has yet to play a single snap for the Philadelphia Eagles yet. So I'm really excited about this kid. I think he's going to be a phenomenal player for this team for the long term. I definitely think he's going to be a guy to keep your eye on as we progress through OTAs, we head into training camp, and then we get towards the start of the regular season. Now, real quick, before we continue on with the rest of the video, I just want to say, if you are enjoying this video and want to see others like it coming in the future, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Around 80% of the people that watch these videos are not subscribed. If you're one of those people, you've been consistently watching the videos, you're enjoying the content, and you love the Philadelphia Eagles, which we cover year-round, consider fixing that and going down and subscribing right now. I think it's a win-win situation for the both of us. And now with that being said, let's get back into the video. And then moving over to Jalen Carter, if you didn't already hear this insane story, then here you go. So Eagles insider Dave Spadaro was on the Philly Talk podcast with Philly Mike, shout out to him, but he said that Jalen Carter apparently broke a blocking sled during the first weekend of rookie minicamp, which is absolutely insane. Super impressive. I don't know how that even happens. That just shows you the incredible strength of Jalen Carter. But then apparently Dave Spadaro said this didn't actually happen later in a tweet yesterday. He walked back his statement. He basically said, "I'm an Eagles homer. I was exaggerating a little bit. I didn't literally mean that he broke a blocking sled. I just meant that he's insanely strong," which doesn't really make sense because if you listen to his original statement, I don't know how else he expected us to interpret what he said, because he basically said he broke a blocking sled. So I don't know how else we were supposed to take that, but I don't know, maybe he's lying and taking it back, maybe, I don't know what's going on with Dave Spadaro. Either way, it's just really good to hear about the insane strength of Carter. I think everyone knows that that's obviously going to serve him well moving into his rookie year and then years down the road after that. And then Carter also right now is continuing to impress at OTAs reportedly as well. He's obviously impressed some of his Eagles teammates, including Josh Sweat, which I talked about in a previous video, so you can go check that out later if you want. But overall, all I've heard is good things about Jalen Carter this offseason. I've heard good things about Nolan Smith, obviously Sidney Brown as well. Just overall, the rookie class, all I've heard is good things about them up to this point. Now, switching over to the offensive side of the ball, we got to talk about the right guard position, where it looks like another second-year player could see a much larger role this year, and that is Cam Jurgens, as he was apparently taking first-team reps at right guard on Thursday, which is obviously very interesting, especially considering the fact that there were multiple reports out there suggesting that Eagles rookie Tyler Steen from Alabama would be the favorite to start at right guard, including one saying that Lane Johnson himself wants to play next to a big guard, which obviously Tyler Steen fits that bill, and not Cam Jurgens, who's small for the guard position and is a natural center. That's according to Brian Baldinger. So this is definitely going to be something to watch. It doesn't necessarily mean that Jurgens is set as the starter just because he was taking first team reps on Thursday. I would still guess it's going to be an open competition between Jurgens and Steen. There might be days I would expect that Tyler Steen gets first team reps, but we don't know that either. I mean, we'll have to see. As of now, it looks like Jurgens is the favorite to start, but again, my guess it's going to be an open competition. So this is definitely something to watch and to keep your eye on as OTAs progress. And now another competition to watch through OTAs is going to be the battle for the wide receiver 3 position, that obviously being between Quez Watkins and Olamide Zaccheaus. Now, I definitely think that the favorite to win that is Quez Watkins. He was reportedly taking first team reps at the wide receiver 3 position on Thursday, and he's apparently looked good in the first couple days of OTAs and made some really nice plays. I mean, from what I've heard, he's shined for the Eagles. He's been one of the bright spots for them so far at OTAs. But Olamide Zaccheaus has also apparently looked pretty good too, and he definitely has a real chance to push Watkins for the starting job. Now if I had to bet, I would expect Quez Watkins to win this battle. I think he's got a real shot to have a good bounce back season for the Eagles after having some memorable for all the wrong reasons type of plays last year. He's looked really good apparently. He put in a lot of work this offseason. I definitely think he has the ability, again, to bounce back, but it's not even guaranteed that he starts, like I said before. And I definitely think Olamide Zaccheaus is a very good player, and it's definitely really good for Quez Watkins to have some competition, and I definitely think he's got a real chance to win that battle as well. So this is going to be interesting to watch. And now moving on, I want to talk about arguably the most surprising thing that I've heard coming out of OTAs so far, and that is in regards to the running back position, as the Eagles reportedly rotated all 4 of their main running backs on the first team at various points, but surprisingly enough, Kenneth Gainwell got the start, then followed by Boston Scott, and then next were DeAndre Swift and Rashaad Penny. So this is pretty surprising considering the fact that I think most people think that DeAndre Swift is going to be the starter for the Eagles, and then Rashaad Penny will probably be the running back number 2 option. But we can't really read into this too much at this point. I mean, I still would expect Swift to be the starter and Penny to get a lot of reps as the running back number 2, despite not being first up right away through the first couple days of OTAs. I mean, if you remember back to last year, Kenneth Gainwell was reportedly getting some first team reps over Miles Sanders at some point. I can't remember if it was OTAs or training camp, but we obviously all know how that went. Miles Sanders ended up starting and having a great season for the Eagles, so I think this is a somewhat similar situation. I mean, Kenneth Gainwell and Boston Scott have been here for a couple years now, while DeAndre Swift and Rashaad Penny are both new, so I think it definitely makes sense that at least in the first couple days of OTAs, they would get the first team reps early, and these 2 guys are also still obviously going to have a role for this team, so I think, again, it makes a lot of sense that they got these first team reps, and I'm sure that Swift and Penny will start on the first team at some point in the coming days of OTAs. Maybe by the time you're seeing this video, that's already happened. Today, we have another open media OTA day, so I would not be surprised if Swift or Penny got the start at all, and I definitely think that's going to happen at some point. So again, ultimately, I think DeAndre Swift is going to be the starter for this team. I think Rashaad Penny is going to be their running back number 2, but don't be surprised if Kenny Gainwell has a lot bigger of a role than a lot of people initially expected him to have. I think he's an extremely talented player who just hasn't quite gotten the opportunity to thrive, and I don't think he's really going to get an opportunity to quote-unquote thrive, like I just said, this season, either with Penny and with DeAndre Swift, but I definitely think he's going to have a significant role on this team as the running back number 3 option, and apparently the Eagles think of him very highly, so again, don't be shocked if he has a pretty significant role. And I guess we'll see how all this plays out in regards to the running back position moving forward in OTAs. But now, speaking of DeAndre Swift specifically, I mean, this is a guy that a lot of Eagles fans are really excited about. And from what we've seen of him so far in OTAs, he looks really good. He looks explosive. We've seen some clips of Hurts throwing to him, which I think is going to get a lot of Eagles fans excited, because one of the things that I think DeAndre Swift is going to really bring to the table for the Eagles and is going to be a bonus, something that they haven't really had in the past couple seasons, is DeAndre Swift's receiving ability out of the backfield. I think that's going to be really important for the Eagles this year. I cannot wait to see this in action. I mean, I think it gives the Eagles offense a whole new element. Obviously, it's only OTAs. We can't look too much into it, but it still is really cool to see him out there catching passes. So overall, that was a lot of really exciting stuff, and that was a lot to unpack, but I'm sure there's going to be plenty more stuff coming out in the coming days regarding Eagles OTAs, and if anything important happens, I'll make sure to cover it. So if you don't want to miss videos like that coming in the future, go down and subscribe to this channel right now, and again, turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos when they come out. And if you did enjoy this video, make sure you drop a like on it to show support, and let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think of what's happened so far for the Philadelphia Eagles in OTAs? I'd love to hear you guys' opinions on it. And if you want to watch another Eagles video, you can go check out this one right here. And now with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.